On today's episode of the Owning It podcast, I'll be taking you down memory lane. I'm going back to the time in 2018 when I hosted my first conference at 19.
Hi, I'm God's Delight Agu, and this is the Owning It podcast. Being a woman is hard enough, but being a woman in Africa, even harder. You're expected to be a good daughter, a good wife, a good mother, and still slay in your career. There are expectations from everywhere: family, friends, culture, society, religion, the list goes on. And every day we face challenges: physical, emotional, financial, and even professional. Sometimes you stop and wonder, is all of this even worth it? Owning It is a podcast where African women tell unfiltered stories of resilience, healing, and truth in their own words. We're here to help women own their stories, the good, the bad, and the ugly. As a storyteller and lover of stories myself, I'll be inviting some of my female friends and women I deeply admire. Together, we'll laugh, cry, unlearn, and grow as they share the battles they fought, the boldness it took to become who they are. If you've ever felt unseen, unheard, or unworthy, this space is for you. New episodes drop every Wednesday, so be sure to subscribe and join the conversation every week. Like Michelle Obama once said, your story is what you have, what you always have. It is something to own. So let's own it together. Welcome to the Owning It podcast.
I had no sponsors, I had no team. It was basically an idea that God had given me concerning something I had learned in biology called mutation. If you are a biology student, you probably heard this word before. Mutation means a sudden change in the DNA. So at that time, God started speaking to me about how He wanted the teenagers and the young people to have a mutation. He wants them to have beyond just what we typically hear, which is a change in mindset. He wants the change to be down to like the cellular level, down to like the DNA level. And he started telling me about making ICANN a strand of our DNA. What does that mean? He wanted me to incorporate in teenagers the spirit of I can, the ability to say yes I can in all circumstances. And that was the backbone upon which we built mutation 18. So I that was typically the idea. That was typically the idea. And I'll be taking you down memory lane on how we went about these events. So what did this symbolize to me when I was 19? Honestly, the biggest I'd ever done before then was hosting the Tit4 monthly meetings, inviting one guest per month. And I think the highest number of teenagers we had recorded per meeting was about 20 or maybe 25. I can't really remember, but maybe 20, 25 at most. But the picture of Mutation 18 was so huge. It was a multitude. It was a statewide annual teens conference. It was big, and we also had to reach out to multiple guests. And that was how it all came to be. That was how it all came to be. I spoke with my team. I'll call them team technically, those that were active and committed to the vision of TIT4 at the time. So we would have series of meetings. I told them about the dream. I told them about what we're trying to achieve. I reached out to some of the speakers or people that God had laid on my heart. I had someone like Onyeti, my mama. So if you've listened to the previous episode, you've heard her speak. I invited my dad, Reverend Paul Ago. I invited Chidima Kalu. I invited Chinwe Akubeze. You're going to hear our episode in the coming weeks. I invited Victor Wankwo. I invited Barrister Jemima Kalu. There was Dr. Becky. And two people even came from outside of Abia State, which was Dr. Kennedy Oboemo and Jolomi Oluwatosin. Jolomi came from Lagos and Dr. Kennedy came from Lokoja. And it was really, really nice. But how was I able to achieve this as someone who was just 19 with no money? So the goal was to tell people, tell teenagers that they can make ICANN a strand of our DNA, that there was actually no impossibility. And mutation had to start with me, technically, if you understand what I mean. So I can't be preaching if ICANN is not a strand of my DNA. Hosting a conference of that magnitude wasn't going to be easy because I didn't have the finances. I was the son of Mr. Nobody. Technically, my parents are not super wealthy. So if I was going to be hosting a conference of that magnitude, we drew out a budget. The budget was about 1 million naira. At that time, I was not even earning any money. Like I mentioned earlier, I was working in my mom's school. She wasn't paying me. So where on earth was I going to raise that amount of money to host a conference? We needed to get a venue. We needed to get a lot of things for the events. Technically, we needed a lot of logistics for our speakers. We needed refreshments. We needed to get branding and design. Oh my God, it was a whole lot. So technically, Mutation had to start with me. What was the structure of the event? So we had 5 speakers, and then we had 4 panelists. Our keynote speaker was Dr. Kennedy Oboemo. Then we had Onyechi, we had Reverend Paul, we had Chidima, we had Julomi. So it was just every speaker came with their A game. And then the panelists, we had Ambassador Chinwe, Victor, Jemima. Dr. Becky didn't come at the time, but we had 3 panelists hosted by the amazing Blessing Okebe. Now, Blessing is such a huge MC. But if I show you throwbacks of these events and how they all looked, oh my God. The main event was moderated by Divine Favor, my friend, and I'm trying to remember the name of the second person. I think MC Makoya was supposed to be the second MC. He came late that day, actually. So that was how we all put it together. Like I said, we needed 1 million naira for the event, but did we get 1 million naira? No, but we got help here and there. We were able to get a venue. Ekponudim helped us. He was a student at Abia State Polytechnic at the time. So, and he was a student union government member. So he was able to help us get one of the halls for our events. Was able to help us get one of the big halls for our events. Publicity, I mean, those were the good old days. Those were the good old days. If you made a post on Facebook in those days, that was enough. There was even nothing like ads. Once you just made a post on Facebook, everybody sees it. Everybody in Aba technically sees it. Everybody shares it. Everybody reposts it. And that's all you need. You post on WhatsApp, I'm not even sure if I used WhatsApp in those days. Everybody just sees your post. Marketing was really, really simple. Everybody tells a friend that tells a friend that tells a friend, and people show up. My speakers, I reached out to them. I don't know if it was via email, via Facebook messages. Just technically just reached out to them. RSVP call. We don't care. Just put out the flyer. People will attend eventually. And in all of these things, even when we face challenges, the one thing that just kept me going was Mutation had to start with me. Mutation had to start with me. That was just it. That was all that kept me going. If I was going to be preaching Mutation to teenagers, making ICANN a strand of our DNA, then I too needed to make ICANN a strand of my own DNA, not just in the talking, but in the practical sense of it. So finally, the day came. The event happened on the 17th of November. Crazy thing is that we had never even hosted a conference before, but we planned on hosting 2 days. So we had an event on Saturday and on Sunday. So Saturday was Mutation 18 proper, which is the conference with the speakers and everybody, while the 18th was Tit for Gala and Award Show. So we knew that in the course of between 2017 when we started and 2018, there had been a number of people that have supported the work that we were doing, and we wanted to appreciate them. We wanted to give them, like, we wanted to specially recognize them. And that was why we put together the Tit for Gala and Award Show. We reached out to most of our past guest speakers, most of our past patrons, and we appreciated them. And within the year, we also had lip spill battle. So we were going to be celebrating our winners and having the filani of that contest during Mutation 18, the Tit for Gala and Award Show. So the idea was, on day one, we have like the whole conference serious, everybody on customized t-shirts and all of that. And then on day two, we'll just have a more laid back, chilled event celebrating us and how far we had come. So that was the idea, and that was how we went about it. We actually achieved our goals for that. So how did it feel when I saw people arriving? Oh my God, I was over the moon. You know, all those teenagers that have been begging over the months that please attend Tit for monthly meetings. We have monthly meetings at number one, Abenoa. Please attend our monthly meetings, and they all heard me. They all came for the bigger thing. They all came for Mutation 18, and it was crazy. You know, the moment that made me cry was a night to the event when Dr. Kennedy Oboemu came all the way from Lokoja to Aba for Mutation 18. This was a man I had met earlier in the year because he had an organization, Association of Nigerian Student Authors, ANSA. And because, like I mentioned in the previous episode, I published my book at 18. So I can't even remember exactly how I got to know about ANSA, but I know I became a member of ANSA, and Dr. Kennedy was the founder of ANSA. So as a member of that community, I just reached out to him. Was I the one that paid his transport fare? I did not pay his transport fare. Dr. Kennedy single-handedly handled his transportation all the way from Dr. Kennedy handled the transportation, both through and fro. We did not give Dr. Kennedy a dime. Dr. Kennedy lodged, all we just had to do was to discover there was a guest house opposite Abia State Polytechnic. So Dr. Kennedy, we just took him, Equa Guest House. We took Dr. Kennedy, my mom and I took Dr. Kennedy there, and Dr. Kennedy paid his hotel fee. He paid for that guest house that night that he spent. I think he spent about 2 nights there, the day one and the day two. Dr. Kennedy single-handedly managed it. And for Jolomi that came all the way from Lagos, he arrived on Saturday towards the end of the event on day one. And Jolomi actually joined us home. Jolomi went home with us. Like, those were the good old days. Those were the good old days. Honestly, if you're someone, I know we've not gotten to the point of advice, but if you're someone listening to this and you're a really young person and God has laid anything in your heart and you have a dream and you have a vision, please do it. You really don't have to wait, because trust me, when you are young and you are doing something, people are going to be amazed. People are going to want to celebrate the work that you're doing. But the older you get and you're doing anything, people expect that you should be doing those things. So it's no longer special. It's no longer new. Your mates are already doing it. But when you're young and you're doing something, you're going to get support. Honestly speaking, that was how it all came together. We didn't have bulk money anywhere, but help from there, help from here, help from there, help from here. People were excited. That was how we were able to pull off Mutation 18. And Mutation 18 was a huge, huge, huge success. And everyone who attended the event, we are so happy that they were able to make it to the event.
Let's face it, in today's job market, talent alone isn't enough. You need the right tools to position yourself for the opportunities you deserve. That's where I come in. I offer bespoke career branding services, tailored CVs, compelling cover letters, optimized LinkedIn profiles, creative portfolios, job search support, and interview preparation that gets you results. Are you fresh out of school, switching career paths, relocating overseas? I've helped people in your exact shoes secure life-changing opportunities, and you are no exception. You can go for a one-off service or choose a full package that transforms you from a job seeker to a job magnet. Are you ready to stand out? Send an email to godsdelightaggle99@gmail.com or WhatsApp me on +234 909 378 1187 and let's get started. Now, fast forward to 2019. The difference between 2018 and 2019 was that towards the end of 20, we had that event in November. I remember I'd written JAMB in 2016, 2017, 2018. The major reason why I was even doing all of the events and all was because I didn't gain admission into school while my mates were gaining admission. So towards the end of 2018, I had to travel. I had to travel to Lagos, to my aunt's place in Lagos, and I spent a couple of weeks with her family in Lagos. So the plan was actually that I was going to relocate to Lagos, seeing that my admission wasn't forthcoming. I'd written JAM 3 times, different schools in the east, and it wasn't working out. Probably I could try out schools in the western part of Nigeria. But surprisingly, a couple of days into my stay in Lagos, my admission came. I was offered pharmacy. So I had to come back from Lagos to Aba so that I could go to Port Harcourt and start processing my admission. So I was in Port Harcourt. I was fluctuating between Aba and Port Harcourt because my admission had issues. I was offered 2 different courses. First of all, I was offered AEB, Animal and Environmental Biology, and the fifth list had pharmacy. So I needed to settle out which of the courses I was going to go for. Obviously, I can't go for Animal and Environmental Biology, so it had to be pharmacy. So I was going back and forth all of that time. Then when 2019 came, I became a student January 2019. I started schooling. I started reading pharmacy January 2019. Throughout that year, 2019, I was in school. From January till November, I just finished my final exam, few days to Mutation 19. So while I was in school, while I was in 100 level, I was planning an event in Aba. I was planning it because I had done it before. I mean, it came with extra motivation. It came with the extra vibe of knowing that, okay, I'd done this before and it went well. So nothing, it can't be bad. What's the worst thing that can happen? So it gave me the courage. And while I was in school, I was reading, while I was trying to pass my exams, I was planning. I met a graphic designer in school. Shout out to Justice, Ideal Muse. He did most of the designs. He did a very great job. I and Justice were always meeting on a regular basis. He was helping me design things. We're posting. Oh my God. It was so crazy. I was always at ICTC. ICTC is the spot in Uniport where we have internet, we have Wi-Fi. I was always there because obviously I couldn't afford data, but ICTC gave me all the data I needed to do all of the things that I needed to. Thinking about it now, I think it was because I was planning Mutation 19 that made my second semester results not so good. I think so, because in first semester I was 100% focused on my academics, but by second semester I had an event to plan. So I was in school, I was reading for exams, and I was planning an event. So first date we set for the event was 18th of November. Well, after I came back, we had to shift it by a week, and we hosted Mutation 19. And the vision for Mutation 19 was becoming young millionaires. That year, God was talking to me about money, and why young people need to have money. I was like, oh my God, I was so scared to show you how much money is such a taboo topic. I was like, what would people think seeing that I'm hosting an event about becoming young millionaires? What would people say?
Oh my God, like it was one of the scariest things I've ever had to do. Hosting an event focused on finances and financial literacy, it was so hard because I was raised up in a world where they feel like young people, teenagers should not even be thinking about money. Like it shouldn't even be a focus. It shouldn't be a center of conversation. But God wanted us to change that because that's the whole essence of mutation. Having conversations that we typically don't have, making a change that we typically don't see, a change down to like the cellular level, a change down to the DNA level. So God wanted me to raise young millionaires, and I put the conference together. We had the keynote speaker. The keynote speaker was, we invited Dr. Kali Cousins. He couldn't make it. We invited engineer Uchenna Juan Augustine. Engineer Uchenna Juan Augustine is someone I met in Port Harcourt. He's a pastor, he has a church, but that man is so passionate about young people. He even hosted it, and he hosts, I think he still hosts that event in Port Harcourt, Stop the Circle. He is so passionate about young people. He is so and his church is full of young people. So I know he had to be Engineer Uchenna. He couldn't make it, but he sent two of his disciples, I would call them, and they did a very great job. My exclusive guest interview was with Nora Omusanya. So Nora was this very amazing entrepreneur who used to read medicine. She was reading medicine in APSU, but when entrepreneurship hit her, she had to move to another department. She moved to, I think, biochemistry or microbiology. She had to move. She focused fully on her entrepreneurship. She used to make Ankara shoes and bags. I think Nora Culture Creations is now a very big household name. She was so good that she was sent abroad by the Nigerian government. She was sent to China to learn more about designing shoes and bag. Nora was that good. So we had to invite Nora. Nora was a young woman doing great things. Nora was our exclusive guest. She did the exclusive guest interview for us. Apart from Nora, we also had Mrs. Chidima Onyekwere. Mrs. Chidima Onyekwere is the owner of Chima Designs. She creates fascinators and some other very creative things. And she's so good. So we had Chidima, we had Thelma Ndubizu. So both Chidima and Thelma are like entrepreneurs in like the real world. And they had a panel session where they just talked about that sort of entrepreneurship. And on the other side, we also had a panel for like tech bros. We had a panel for like tech people. So there we had Okpara Prosper, we had Caspar Joe, we had Fortune Ikechi, we had Prince Eminike. So they were talking exclusively about money, online money. So representing engineer Uchenna Juan Augustine, we had Wisdom One and Raphael Ben. They talked about Age is No Cage, Mommy Thelma, and Mommy Chidima. I can't even see what they spoke about, but I know that the tech people talked about online money, online time, money time. It's We held the events. We had the event at AG Worship Center, 144 Azikiwe Road by Adazi. And it was a really, really good event. Despite the fact that I wasn't in Aba throughout the time when this event was holding, it still went well. And it was so beautiful. And it was such an improvement to 2018. The design was such an improvement. The venue we used was such an everything. It was so much better. It was such an improvement. And once again, we're using it to mark my 20th birthday. So it was so beautiful. Like it was so beautiful. And that was how we're able to put together Mutation 19. Now, quick break. I want to tell you about something really special. If you've ever felt overwhelmed, mentally drained, or like nobody really gets you, I know a space that might just change everything.
It's called Mutation Monthly Series, a talk show I'm a part of where young people between 16 and 35 gather every last Sunday of the month to talk real talk about our mental health, our emotions, and healing in a world that doesn't always make room for it. It's completely free, super chill, and honestly feels more like a conversation with friends than an event. You can join us physically in Lagos at number 13 George's School Estate off College Road, Oba. Or if you're not in Lagos, no worries. We stream live on YouTube. Just search Mutation Monthly Series, subscribe to our YouTube channel, turn on post notifications to get notified when we go live. If you want to register, head over to Team Mutation International on Instagram and tap the link in bio. Healing looks different for everyone. This might just be what yours looks like. After all those years, in 2020, there was COVID, so we didn't have Mutation 20. In 2021, well, I was in a relationship. Apart from the fact that pharmacy school was like getting really tough, and I eventually took a break in 2021. But I was in a relationship, and I'll talk about that relationship one day, but that story for another day, right? So let's just keep it at that. 2022, I was still in a relationship. 2023, oh boy, relationship was shaking, but I was trying to make it work, and low-key, nothing happened. Till 2024, it all came crashing down, 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 down. Yeah, but it was 2023 that I relocated to Lagos from Port Harcourt. 2024, I was still, I wasn't even thinking about any of these things. But in 2025, and yeah, mind you, within those years, between 2021 and 2024, my relationship with God was shaky. It was shaky, largely because of that relationship. Like I said, I really don't want to go into details about that. But let's just say something really little. I was in that relationship and I was doing some things that I wasn't so proud of. I know you can guess what it is. I was doing some things I wasn't proud of. And I also had the feeling that God wasn't proud of me as well. So, the guilt, the shame, and you just sink into that very, very dark place. That was what happened to me. I just stopped praying. I stopped reading the Bible. I stopped talking to God. I even stopped attending church for some time. Everything just looked off. The only thing that mattered in my life in most of those years was that relationship. And that was how mutation didn't happen all those years. That was how from taking a 2020 break, we ended up spending the next 4 years without doing anything. Okay, but in 2025, the relationship ending to a large extent has a lot to do with the vision for Mutation 25. So when the relationship ended in 2024 June, before then the relationship had ended multiple times. It had ended 2 major times before then. I'd broken up with him. We had stopped talking for months. And then I would go back. He would tell me he's sorry. We'll get back together. And the cycle continues. That kept happening. But when it ended in 2024, I knew that I never want to go back to this person. I knew that I did not want to have anything to do with this person anymore. I wanted it to be the end for real, for real. So what did I do? I did what I had never done in all those. Because this is something we often do. When we break up with people, we often have the feeling that, oh my God, I'm just waiting for them to come back. I'm waiting for them to come and apologize. And we don't exactly break up. We just break up with them to show them that we are angry. And not really because genuinely from the depth of our hearts that we have broken up with them. That was what I used to do in those years. I'll break up with this person, but deep inside me, I know that I don't want to break up with this person. I know that I want them back. But
I just broke up with them because of something they did that made me angry. So in that 2024, I knew that I don't want to ever have anything to do with this person anymore. Shout out to my friend Amaka. Trust me, moving to Lagos changed everything for me. Because in all those days I was breaking up and making up, I was in Port Harcourt. But moving to Lagos, meeting Amaka, hearing her story, a lot of things just began to make sense. And I would just say it was about the same time that my prefrontal cortex developed, technically, because there's no other way to explain it. So I did what I had never done before. I went on YouTube because I'm a YouTube girl. So I went on YouTube and I searched how to move on from a breakup, how to heal. Because I felt in all of those 4 years, I wasn't moving on each time I broke up with him. I was just waiting for him to come back. And because he never came back, I would always be the one to go back to him. So I searched those things and Amaka was telling me, and Amaka was, like I said, I'm going to talk about that relationship one day. But Amaka was going through a bad breakup too. And while I was trying to help her heal, Amaka looked me in the eye one day and told me, you know, you and I were just the same thing, right? I was like, bro, who is this girl? Like, what? What do you mean we're both the same thing? She said, I mean, I've been here for like a week. You've been calling this guy and this guy will pick your call. I'm like, okay, that's true. But you don't have to shout about it. So that was how it happened. And she was so into narcissism. She was watching videos about narcissistic abuse back to back to back, and I hated it for the life of me. I hated it. In all of these days, I've had friends who are like die-hard feminists, right? I've had friends who are like, so I was like, isn't all this bunch of words that feminists throw around, narcissism? What the hell is narcissism? Like, why are you watching all of these videos? But somehow I could not avoid it. I could not stop listening anytime she was watching. And I realized that most of the things that she was saying were things I was actually experiencing in my relationship. So I too went ahead to do my own research. I found this playlist on YouTube by Kathy Martin on narcissism. So I watched that playlist. But no, I did not even start my healing journey. I did not even start it till, even after I'd broken up with my ex, I did not still start my healing journey. Till I found out that he was involved with a girl, he got her pregnant, and the girl reached out to me and blah, 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 blah. Oh my God. Very, very crazy time, right? Very, very crazy time. So that was even the point when I started taking my healing journey seriously. And that was when God started talking to me again. Thank you so much, Kathy Martin, for putting that video together. I know she probably never listen to my podcast, but if you know Kathy Martin, just tell her thank you. She saved my life. You know, I watched those videos. I was even working at the time. I had an office job. I'd come back from work every day before I sleep. Instead of watching a movie or anything, I'll be watching those videos, that narcissism playlist. It made a lot of sense. It gave me clarity on a lot of things that had happened in my life. I journaled a lot. I made a lot of notes. It made a lot of sense and it helped me heal. It helped me see why I needed to leave that relationship. It made me see why that relationship wasn't good for me. And let's just say that as a result of that breakup, I got back to God and God started telling me, okay, now this thing that you have learned, this experience that you have had, and you are healing. I want you to also take that healing back to people. I want you to teach them. In Mutation 25 is all about healing. I was like, God, you have come again. You have come. You don't want me to like this. What have I done? Like, why are you treating me like this? Why are you treating me like this? First of all, you know that I'm new to this Lagos. You know that I don't even have friends apart from Amaka. Who else do I even talk to in this Lagos? You know, and you're asking me to do what? To host Mutation 25? Are you kidding me? Where am I going to get the money to host Mutation 25? God said, calm down, calm your nerves. He was like, okay, now you know that you are new to Lagos, true. But when you were hosting Tit4, when you were hosting Mutation 18, how were you able to do it? I say, God, I was hosting T4 monthly. He said, good. You're hosting T4 monthly. You're going to start Mutation monthly series. I'm like, hey, Chimo. He say, starting from January, every month, based on all of the things you learned in your healing process, you're going to pick a topic and teach people from your experience. You're going to tell them. And by November, it's all going to make sense. You're going to reach out to speaker. He started telling me the people to reach out to. He started telling me the way the event is going to be structured. He started giving me names. He started giving me topics. I'm like, oh my God. God, Haponomaka now. If you're not Igbo, Hapomaka is like, God, leave me alone now. What did I do you? But, it sounds really funny, but that was how it all started. That was what led to Mutation Monthly series. And I'm really glad to say that it's been so beautiful. In Mutation in monthly series, January, we talked about traumas, which is like the foundation of everything. In February, we talked about adult friendships. In March, we talked about attachment styles, because these are things that I never even knew. Attachment styles? I've never heard of it. Kathy Martin's video helped me see what my attachment style was. My attachment style was anxious. I was very, very insecure. I was anxious like mad. I was anxious. So she helped me see all of those things. I also taught people about attachment styles. And in April, we talked about toxic parents. In May, we talked about toxic relationships. In June, we talked about men's mental health. In July, we talked about, try to remember the last topic we treated at Mutation monthly series. I can't even remember. But I shall know that this is August. I'm recording this in August, and I know that this month we'll be talking about comparison. So it's been a beautiful ride. People have been turning up. The numbers, some days the numbers are good, some days the numbers are not good. But I mean, I know the dream that God has given me. I know what God is telling me, and that is why I keep doing what I am doing. I keep creating spaces where people have conversations that they barely have in any other place. And by the grace of God, in November, Mutation is coming back. Mutation's annual conference is coming back, and it's all about healing. It's all about healing. So, why am I telling this story? What are some of the lessons I have learned over the years by creating these spaces, by hosting these events? The first thing is that, see, people are hungry. People are hungry for belonging. People want to associate with something or somebody. People are looking for a space that understands them, a space that gets them. And the right space can change someone's life. Because I am a product of attending events that have transformed my life 100%. I've attended events that made me realize that, bro, if this person has been through this, and they're able to come out and talk about it, you've not even been through anything. And you have 100% chance of becoming successful. I've been a product of such events. So I know that the right space can change someone's life. And honestly, another lesson I've learned is that you don't have to be qualified to start. Sometimes we hold ourselves back. We hold ourselves back so much. We tell ourselves, oh, I need to become this. I was no expert in events creation. I've not learned anything about event management. I've not learned anything about hosting events. But I just acted based on the instructions I got from God. And did He make it happen? Of course. So you don't have to wait till you are qualified, because you keep waiting and you will discover that feeling, the time when you feel like it will never come, because there's always going to be something more you need to learn. There's always going to be something more you need to. There's a whole lot we learn by just starting things. There's a whole lot we learn by doing. Like I mentioned, Mutation 19 was a far better improvement to Mutation 18. Why? Because I had done it before. I took in the lessons I had learned, the mistakes from Mutation 18, and put it in and made Mutation 19 a lot more better. Even though I wasn't even in Aba while planning Mutation 19, but it was still a huge success. Another lesson I learned from all of these experiences is that impact doesn't need a big budget. If you want to make impact in society, you don't need money.
I know this might be like a very proud thing for me to say, but you don't need money to do anything good. All you need is a vision. All you need is an I can mindset. I know you will say, I don't come again. Yes, I don't come again. You need an I can mindset. Because when you have an I can mindset, the universe is going to work in your favor. Hey, I can't even go into details of how things always turned around for my good within those years between 2018 and 2019 when I hosted this event. Someone will say, I'm giving you venue. Someone will say, I'm creating cake for you. Someone will say, I'm paying for this. I'm paying for that. I'm paying for this. Bookie, take this money. Do this one. Out of the blues. And one thing again is that I always believe this, that if God is the giver of the vision, He's going to make provision for it. He is going to make provision. I remember even during this Mutation monthly series that I'm currently on, there are times when I won't even have money to go about the logistics of the event, like getting fuel. I remember even the first edition we had, even getting a space. But somehow God always creates the resources. You don't need a big budget to make impacts. You don't need a big budget. Ask anybody that's ever done anything. They will tell you the same thing. You don't need money. You don't need money to make impacts. Okay? Now, something else I also learned by creating these spaces is that creating a space for others will often create you too. Like, what do I mean by this? There's so much I learned in all those years. There are so many skills I acquired in all those years. And there's so much impact hosting all of these events had on me. So many positive impacts. So when you're creating a space, don't just think, this conference, I'm hosting it for other people. No, you're not hosting it for other people. Like I mentioned, during Mutation 18, making ICANN a strand of our DNA, it wasn't just the ICANN mindset. The mutation had to start with me. Mutation had to start with me. By seeing that Mutation 18 became a success, I knew that with ICANN, nothing is impossible. So I saw firsthand the effect of ICANN, the effect ICANN can have on a person. I saw it firsthand. So that's like the first thing. That's like one thing, one lesson I have learned over the years about creating spaces for others. Concluding this conversation, okay? If you are someone who is listening to this podcast right now and you have an idea in your heart, but you are scared to start, I'm looking at you. You have an idea and you are scared to start. You don't have to know everything. You don't have to know everything. You don't have to know. That is the trap. That is the trap. Let me talk a bit about my ex, right? I said I was not going to talk. This episode is not all about him, but I just want to make an example. So when I met my ex was really into like video editing. He loved editing video. I'll say it was like his love language, because he used to make a lot of beautiful videos for me, and putting all these sweet words, I'll make my head swell. And it was good. He was so good. But for some reasons, he didn't see how good he was. I used to call him my badass video editor. He didn't even know how good he was. He would tell me, "Oh, I'm learning with Adobe Premiere Pro. I'm learning with this app." I don't even know I don't know the names of the apps, but that was like that was a recurring thing in his mouth. "Oh, I've not finished learning from Adobe Premiere Pro. Oh, I've not finished learning from this so app. Oh, I've not finished learning from so. And when I'm done with learning," I used to tell him, "You can actually monetize this skill. You can monetize this thing." And he will be like, no, he's not good enough. Oh, he needs to still learn this one. He needs to. And in all the 4 years I spent with him, he never made a single dime from video editing. But I saw people that were not even half as good as him making money online from video editing. This is what happens when you feel like you need to know everything before you start. You don't need to know everything to start. You just need to care enough. You just need to care enough to start. If there's no other lesson you're taking out from this whole podcast, I want you to take that back. You don't need to know everything to start. You just need to care enough to start. Okay, having said that, I want to invite you, my listeners, to Mutation Monthly Series. I mean, I mean. What have I not said? I've told you how this has been a running vision since 2018. I've told you how God helped me heal from the heartbreak of my toxic relationship and how He has asked me to extend the healing to other people. So, if you're listening to this podcast and you are in Lagos, Nigeria, it does not matter if you are a man or a woman. I want to see you at Mutation Monthly Series, August edition. Yes. We're talking about comparison. How comparison is a thief of joy. And I know that most of you listening to this, in one way or the other, you have compared yourself to other people. So that is why you need to be at this event. Come and let's just talk. Let's talk. There's a whole lot to talk about. You can make friends. It's just a very nice, warm, friendly, safe space to have conversations. And in case you're listening and you're like, oh my God, oh, I would have come, but I'm not in Lagos, but I want to come. Okay, we've got you covered. We have a YouTube channel. I have a YouTube channel. And if you go on that YouTube channel, there's a playlist, Mutation Monthly Series. And you just have to subscribe to my YouTube channel. And when you subscribe to my YouTube channel, you're going to be getting notifications of when we go live. Easy peasy. Okay? Very, very easy. You don't need to do much. You're just going to click and join our live because we stream live. Because I know that a lot of people would like to join these sessions, but because they are not in Lagos, they can't join. But if you are in Lagos, trust me, it is always better to attend an event in person. There is an experience and vibe you will not get from joining virtually that you will get from attending it. These conversations are fun. These chats, these events are usually fun. So I would like you to attend this event. Hope it doesn't sound like an ad. Okay, it's an ad and I'm only using my full chest. Please come to Mutation Monthly Series, okay? All right. This is where I draw the curtains on today's conversation. If you're listening to this podcast and you've ever created a space, you've ever done something, or maybe you want to create a space and you don't know how to, I'm encouraging you to share your story with me. You can do that by dropping a comment. You can do that by sending me an email at onlyneedpod1@gmail.com. Feel free to reach out. I really want to hear your story. I want to know what's stopping you because you don't know the impact that some of these things can have on the lives of people. You don't know the impact that this can even have on you. So please, if you have an idea, execute the idea. Don't waste for the perfect time because there is no perfect time. Because you will keep waiting forever and the perfect time will never come and you will never feel ready and you will never feel qualified. So if you have an idea, please go ahead and execute it. I feel like this is what all of my solo podcast episodes usually sound like. It feels like I'm a motivational speaker, but I am not a motivational speaker. I'm just someone who is so passionate about seeing people fulfill purpose. I'm just someone who is so passionate about seeing people become who they are supposed to be. I'm someone who is just so angry by seeing young people waste their lives. That is all I am all about. And that's why every single one of my episodes sounds like, go do it, go. Please go do it. Okay? All right. So this is where I draw the curtains on today's solo episode. And I hope you've had fun as much as I've had fun talking about this. So, see you when I see you. I remain yours truly, God's Delight Agu. I'm a writer, I'm a storyteller, I'm a mental health advocate and educator. I am a digital and social entrepreneur. All right, catch you next week. Bye, guys. Hey, real quick before we end, if you've been listening and thinking, maybe one day I'll tell my story, this is your sign. You don't have to be famous. You don't have to have it all figured out. You just need to be honest. Honest is a space for real people, real voices, and real stories. So if you've lived through something that changed you, grew you, hurt you, or freed you, let's talk. If you know someone whose story you find inspiring, an African woman you would love us to invite, tell us in the comments below. Email us at oninitpodcast1@gmail.com or send us a DM on Instagram at oninitpod_. We're waiting. The world needs your story, not a perfect one, a true one. Like this episode, share with your friends and family, comment the moments that got you the most or the lessons you've learned. Rate us a 5-star so that the episode gets recommended to more people. I'll see you in another episode.